Hi, today we're visiting Tenby. We're going to take a look at St Catherine's Island and Fort. The island was first used by people as a place of pilgrimage, and there was a chapel there dedicated to St Catherine. That fell into ruin and then was eventually pulled down when they built the Napoleonic fort, which you can see today. Okay, so we're just going up the steps to St Catherine's Fort. I'm hoping it's not too windy. We've been here once before. It was probably about 5 or 6 years ago. It's really hot. It's about 25 degrees. And the fort is actually on an island. So it's open today until 1:30 when the tide will come in and it will cut it off. You'll be seeing some fantastic views of Tenby from up the top here. There we go. You just see the top of the fort there. I'm going to stop and pan round. Over there you can see Caldy Island, where there's a monastery and a community of monks. You can get a boat trip there. And here's the main beach in Tenby. You'll see even a better view from up the top. So the fort is Napoleonic. It was built in Victorian times when we were expected to have an invasion from France, but apparently that never happened. When it was decommissioned, I'll just give you a brief history. It was bought by a rich family who used it as their home. So they turned it into a kind of glorified mansion. It was then recommissioned by the army in the Second World War. So you'll probably see some gun emplacements or remains of them later. And in the 1970s, it became, I think it was the 70s, the unlikely home of a zoo, which were known for escapees, and eventually it was deemed unsuitable and it closed. Then it lay derelict for many years until now some volunteers have taken it over and open it for tours. Have a look at the lovely flowers. You can see that tractor is where you catch the boat to Caldy Island. There's the castle remains on top of the hill, and you can see just round the bay. So I'm going to go up the top here and then we'll have to show our tickets. This is the bridge which has been replaced. Apparently there used to be a really dodgy wooden bridge. You can kind of see the remains of it underneath, but they replaced it with a much safer one now. But I still don't like looking through the holes. Hello, look, birds. You just see the edge of the lifeboat station. The man who's talking to Colin was just telling someone else that this was where they had a 4-inch gun emplacement during the war. There's the main fort. And there, that was the 4-inch gun emplacement.
Yeah, it's a Lister 2-litre diesel engine that was built in Dursley. The blokes who brought it up there were 6 of them. They brought it up in 1970. They had to make the sled specially for it, and they had to drag it up. 6 guys. It took them 3 days to get it up onto the island. The plan was to put it inside the fort, but they got it this far, and then they decided it was going to be in here in the generator room. So at the time that was brought up in 1970, it powered the lighting for the zoo that was here.
Oh, the zoo. This was the original gun.
Yeah. So this was a 4.5-inch quick-firing naval gun It was recycled from First World War battleship. And so going into the Second World War, they were dismantling the older battleships, but the guns were still perfectly usable. And that's why on the floor here we've got the points of the compass, north, east, south and west.
Oh yeah, I can see the points of the compass there.
So this particular gun was test fired 3 times, after bringing all the pieces up separately, building it and mounting it. And then after test firing it 3 times, they had to disassemble it and remove it because it was far too powerful for the island.
Wow.
So upon test firing, there were great cracks appearing and boulders falling off the island.
Oh God.
And they were seriously worried that this part of the island was going to collapse and take the men and the gun with it.
Bloody hell.
So it was replaced with a lighter, what we call a Bofors gun. And that's the carriage of that is on wheels, rubber tyres. So that from here is the only time any shots have been fired in anger, and they did actually fire on German bombers during the Second World War from here.
That's where they came over Tenby, didn't they?
Yeah, this would be right in the centre of, they could be heading towards Milford here.
Apparently part of the fort is closed today because the new generator they bought for lighting packed up after a few weeks, so they're waiting for a replacement. So he did say that some of the galleries you can't go in. I think that's sea kale. Some boats and some guy paddle boarding. Right, we'll carry on up to the fort before more people come up behind us. We're quite lucky because it's my day off today and Colin's got some time off of work, and yesterday the fort was closed because it is totally dependent on the tides, so we were quite lucky to come in. Oh, I'm just going to take a picture of this sign because I think it's funny. The Velociraptor Free Workplace. Someone has a sense of humour. Oh, the water looks quite clear. Colin's dying to go swimming. I've had a little paddle to test the temperature of the water. I think where we're standing now, I'm not sure if there's a cave. I did take a picture earlier. There is a cave that goes right underneath the island. You can see some of the old railings there. So the gentleman was telling us the generator was from the 1970s when they had the zoo here. You can't imagine it. It would have been a very good place to keep animals, to tell the truth, because it's quite exposed and gloomy, and I wouldn't have thought they had very large enclosures for them. I think it's classed as a bit of a nature reserve as well, because you've got the wildflowers and obviously it's away from most people. There's another bit of a moat here. Let's see, there's a lower floor, and we're going to go across the bridge into the main gate. I do remember that when we came some years ago, they told us that there was a special bathroom with a seawater shower. So I'm thinking maybe that's what those pipes were for, because you can see the old drainage pipes which have really rusted. I don't know if you can make out the date at the top. It's quite hard to read. There we are. 1870. And there's an old urn which is quite ornamental. I'm guessing that's from the days when it was used as a posh home and they would have had plants in it. It'd be nice if they stood those up again. I like those pink flowers. Okay, we're now going to enter into the main part of the fort. They said there's a film presentation, which obviously I won't film, but I'm hoping we'll be able to see it. We've got these chains either side and a serious heavy-duty gate. I like the tiled floor. Oh, it's lovely and cool. Just take a picture of the notice board. I can remember some parts, but apparently this was the kind of room where they had visitors when it was a posh house, which is why this has got fancy decorations on the roof, whereas you'll see the rest of it is much more austere. There's the old fireplace. I still think it's pretty drafty. There was actually a programme on television, I don't know if you might be able to get it on Catch Up, Abandoned Engineering, and they did talk about the time when this was a zoo, and they interviewed a lady whose family had the zoo when she was a young girl. You can just about see this picture, which was when it was used as a stately home. And as you can see, there is a Facebook page. Oh, a chandelier. I can see already it's changed a bit since we were last here, but you can see the rest of the ceiling is just plain, rather than that fancy ceiling boss in that first area. Look at these doors. You wouldn't want to step out of there, really. And the old metal. You see it's in separate rooms. Some kind of ventilation up there. There we are. And I think this was the bedroom when it was a mansion. Wow, imagine that. It must have been so cold. There's the actual for sale notice. Lovely painting. And postcards for sale. Oh, look at that old telly. Wow. There's some information about this. Oh wow. They're hoping to get it on BBC's Repair Shop. which is one of my favourite programmes. Oh, it was actually found on the fort and is 70 years old. Wow. That's a bit of a relic. Is it wooden? Yeah, the case is wooden. Cool. In the other room there's a film presentation which we'll probably watch later. You can see there's a lot of passageways and galleries that aren't open at the moment. This is probably the bit where you can't go in because of the generator not working. You can pause if you want to read any of the info. Oh wow, so they haven't even explored all of it yet. So this is a serving hatch. And it was sealed off when it was used as a home. Oh. So it was used for the gunpowder and the shells. Let's have a look in. Can't see much, of course, because it's so dark. There's a lot more to restore here. Some more pictures of what it was like. So they've basically got a fireplace in each room. See the immense waves that hit the island. This is why quite often it has to be closed, even when the tides are okay. Oh yeah, I don't know if you saw this. The final episode of Sherlock, Benedict Cumberbatch, was actually filmed on this island. Whether it's still available on a BBC iPlayer, I don't know. But I did watch it. And you can see here are the autographs of the stars. There's a map. And more recently, for any music fans out there, Manic Street Preachers filmed a video up here. I wish I'd known, because I'm quite a Manics fan. And the song was on their most recent album, so if you check out Manic Street Preachers' YouTube page, you should be able to find the video that was filmed here. I'll try and put a link to it. Here's a map showing all the separate rooms. And this shows all the wildlife that can be seen on the island. I'm hoping to look at some rock pools later if the tide's not up too much. Oh wow. That's the corridor I just took a picture of. You can see it's in a right state. And there's a list here of all the things that have been filmed here. I've never heard of that. Dracula's Island movie. Abandoned Engineering was filmed here recently, as I said earlier, which I did see. The Mannix film. And Sherlock. And there's Wally the Walrus, who became a bit of a celebrity when he landed up in Tenby when he went off course. This is the wishing well. We can chuck a coin down and try and land it in a bowl. We had to go before, and Colin did it first time, and it took me ages because I was a bit pathetic. watch the film. I think I'll add this to my dream home list actually. Oh, let me just move this so I can see the other picture. Oh wow, that's a grand bedroom. So we're hoping one day in a few years more will be open and we'll be able to go right up on the roof and it'll be changed again. But I would like to say thank you to the volunteers who work here because I have asked permission to film. So I hope you enjoyed our look at St Catherine's Island and Fort, and thanks for watching. Bye!